Yo, so we're here. Season 3, episode 32, DJ's Corner Podcast. I'm Bangarang.
I'm
Ian, what's
Ian.
good, bro?
What up, dude?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well.
Yeah,
I'm
chilling,
kind of
chilling.
I'm kind of sad about a couple things, but I'm doing well overall.
So why you sad? I think I know one of the reasons why you're sad.
Yeah, I'm sad because we had to cancel. Well, we made the decision to postpone DOS Energy to next year for
Mm-hmm.
obvious reasons, you know.
Yeah.
But also for like that, even if there was a small chance it could happen in August, you know, like these things take months and months to like plan out, and we're already kind of behind, like, because it's June and you know,
Yeah.
hasn't been a for sure go, hasn't been for sure not a go, so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, so just better move to cancel it for the safety of everyone and just for like obvious reasons. But
Okay.
postponed to next year, technically.
Yeah.
We're giving people refunds if they want them. We're also giving people a voucher if they want to exchange their ticket for a voucher of the value plus 10%
Yeah.
of their ticket. They can get a voucher to use for V2 stuff in 2021, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's the best way to like support V2. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Anyways, get the bad news out of the way first, and then we'll just have good news after this.
Well, I mean, it's all good,
Does that
man.
kill your
Like,
vibe? You look
no,
sad
not
now.
at all. Bro, we're homies. You got to talk about these
I gotta
things. You
rep
got to
the
talk
shirt
about how
today,
you're
you know.
feeling.
That's why I'm repping the shirt, you know.
I need one of those. I need
Love
one of
for
those
DOS
get
Energy.
lucky jackets.
Oh yeah, you like those?
Bro, I'm
That
still
was like
trying
a
to buy
limited
one.
run. I
Yeah.
think we only made like 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna
but
have
we could
to.
always make more, you know.
I'm,
Yo,
I
so
mean,
what?
I would buy one.
What's up? What's up with you, bro? What were you just working on before we started this up?
So I'm announcing it. Well, we're announcing it tomorrow. But me and my homie at Golden Axe SLC, we're starting we're calling it the SLC Unity Drive, and pretty stoked on it. We're collecting supplies for the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Utah, as well as the Road Home. Um,
Nice,
just with everything going
nice.
on, we kind of feel like we wanted to really try to bring the people together, you know,
Yeah.
and we feel like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and as well as the Road Home, we feel like those two companies are they are what it means to help anybody, regardless of what they look like, you know.
So,
And
who's the homie you're doing it with? What's his name?
his name is Justin, and he's a manager at Golden Axe SLC. This is a U92 and Golden Axe uh,
Oh,
collaboration.
U92's involved. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
So
Big Brothers and Big Sisters is an organization, right?
that's a charity. Their charities as well as the Road Home, they're a charity as well. Um, so yeah, man,
Nice. Yeah.
we're we're just trying to collect
That's
and just
good,
help
man.
out the people. I mean, we're just trying to do something, bro.
So
Like,
you guys
you
are doing
know.
a event, a drive coming
hmm
up.
Yeah. So how it's gonna work is we'll be collecting donations at Golden Axe SLC for like the next 2 weeks, and then on June 27th, we're going to do an actual drive like in the location, and then when you come and make a donation, you'll get like 50% off of axe throwing, or maybe it's twenty
Oh,
percent,
dope.
but like you're gonna get like a discount off of axe throwing. So
Nice. Good stuff.
yeah,
Good shit.
thanks, dog.
Um, hell yeah. I'm working on so this. I've got something tomorrow that people who when this goes up on Monday it'll already have passed. But for anyone who was watching this live, I'm doing an event tomorrow with some other people called Better Tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
and it's 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. It's on Twitch. I'll post up links, but it's just a bunch of good artists, a bunch of
Yeah.
good EDM artists, some local, some from everywhere. The
Yeah.
homie I'm doing it with is from Phoenix, so lots of like Phoenix local artists there too.
Uh-huh.
Thrilogy is playing Slow Palace. Julian Gray,
Hey.
who's on Mousetrap, Echoes, some good stuff. And we're raising money for Reclaim the Block, which is a Minneapolis organization for reallocating city funding away from police, and um, also for like so raising money for that, but also raising money for victims of mental illness and trauma. Yeah,
Okay,
that'll be cool.
bro, that's dope. Hell yeah, hell yeah, that's
Tomorrow,
dope, man.
Saturday, 13th.
That's good. That's so tomorrow.
Yes.
So
So anyone who watches this on Monday, I'm sorry, but it's already over. Hope you watched and donated some money.
yeah.
But
um. So yeah, should we get into our guest?
yeah, you wanna introduce our guest?
Yeah, I will. So today's guest, he's a homie of mine. He owns one of the dopest spots in Ogden. His name is Jared, and he owns Alleged, and he's a really cool dude. He's also involved a little bit with Ogden Twilight as well. Um, so I'm really excited to have him on and just kind of see how he's been. I know recently Alleged reopened, and
Yeah, dude, I'm
I've
super curious to ask him some stuff about that.
yeah, like trying to just to have a local pulse. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited. We should bring him in.
All
We
right, let's
let's
let's do it. He's here. Here we go.
yeah yeah. Yo,
Hey, how's it going?
good. How are you, man?
I'm good.
Good. Thanks again. This is my co-host Ian. He
Hey,
actually works
Jared.
for V2. He's the homie.
Oh, right on.
Good to
Very
meet you,
cool.
man.
Nice to
Good
meet
to
you.
have you. Yeah. Thanks for
Right
thanks
on.
for chatting with us today.
For sure.
So let's just hop into it. So let's talk about a little bit. Let's just talk about you a little bit. So obviously you own. I was telling people before that like you own like the dopest spot in Ogden, I believe. Um,
Oh, thank you.
you're welcome, and as well as
For
Ogden
sure, the
Twilight
spot.
as well. Like you're involved with that as well. So how did that all start? Like, are you from Utah, and like how did everything just kind of happen?
Yeah, so I grew up in Brigham City, a little bit north of here, and I was always into music and art and design, and I went to college for art and design, and then I ended up getting a gig as an art director, creative director in advertising agencies, and I moved around the country doing design work, and as I moved for gigs, I stumble across either business concepts or music or things like that that I liked. And when I eventually moved back to Utah for skiing, I kind of wanted to transplant a lot of the culture that I liked from other places that I lived back to Utah.
Okay, dope. I
Nice.
mean, you could definitely like feel that at Alleged because it's like three different spots in one kind of like there's three different vibes, you know.
For sure, you can kind of bar hop all in one building. You
That's
can
awesome.
just
Yeah,
go check out what's happening on what other level.
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, yeah, it's dope. So how was obviously COVID happened and it kind of stopped everything for everybody. And just recently I saw that Alleged reopened. How has everything been since the reopening? Is it and how do you feel it's gonna change things in the future?
It's been really interesting. Like I was super confident that when we got to reopen in that orange phase, which was early May, I believe May 1st or so,
Is
that I
Hmm.
thought
that's
it
when
was.
you guys opened up in like early May?
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was going to be lines out the door, like all those little social distancing seating areas that we'd set up. I
Hmm.
thought, man, they're all going to be overrun instantly. We're going to need to take
Right.
reservations, that sort of thing.
For
But man,
sure.
those first 2 weeks, it was a ghost town. I know nobody showed
Dang.
up. I mean, our sales were maybe like a tenth of what they normally are.
Wow.
Wow.
But slowly things have been creeping back to normal, and uh, as we entered the yellow phase and restrictions loosened a little bit and people became more comfortable, uh, things have definitely bounced back. We're the last couple of weekends we've probably done about 75% of our normal sales, and
Oh,
and the
that's awesome.
vibe
That's
from
great.
the vibe from the guests and the crowd is definitely they're having more fun. They're less cautious in terms. I mean, I think initially there was the fear of catching the disease. B,
Right.
there was this whole stigma about going out. You're kind of a crappy, selfish person if you're not sitting at home, being safe. And
Right.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know, how, there's obviously a lot of loss of income associated with this, how much money people have to go out and spend on a night out having fun. So I wasn't quite sure what was caused, why we were so slow initially, but I think it was just a lot of information we've had. And a lot of people didn't realize we were open, that you could go out. And
Mm-hmm.
granted, there are definitely restrictions, some social distancing stuff going on, but
Mm.
it's not a bad night out, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool. That I mean, I know it was like rough for every club owner when it when we had to close up. Like, when did you have to close down initially when
I,
this all started?
it was in mid March. We only operate Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, and so I think it technically could have gone through St. Patrick's Day if we wanted to, but we again just run on weekends. So I believe the 14th was the last day we were open. We
Yeah,
were shut down.
same with Sky and every. That seems to be the day for most people.
Yeah, yeah. So we were shut down for about 6 weeks, and it was again about a month of a super slow recovery, and then now we seem to get back. We're back to a comfortable spot. It feels like a good night out again.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Are you serving food now, or are you just like it's just social?
So we just have the same minimal food offerings to basically comply with the DABC. I mean,
Gotcha.
if we could do no food, we would do no food.
Yeah.
But we've got, and I can't say too much about it probably yet, but we've got a food partner opening up in the space next door that will
Oh,
hopefully kind
sweet.
of enhance our offerings within a month or so. But with COVID, everything slowed down. We thought they were going to open April 1st, but now I imagine it'll be sometime early July.
Are you gonna like knock down a wall in between the two and like have it so you can?
Uh, yeah, I wish we could. I think what will probably occur is a member of their staff will come over and take orders and then like send it through to their cell system and then they'll run it over type of
Okay.
deal. So I think it'll help
Nice.
us, get busier earlier in the night and kind of take advantage of that roof deck early when it's nice. But I think the plan is to kind of halt the heavy food service at about 10 p.m.
Nice.
Smart.
Nice, dude. I gotta make it back up there. I've been there only one time, and it was a long time ago, and I was a little bit faded. I don't really remember. I need to make it back
Yeah, yeah,
soon.
no, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Um, Did you come up after an Ogden Twilight show or just a
Yeah,
random night?
I think that's what it was actually. I think it was after who was it? I think it was Lewis the Child that night. Like a
Yeah,
few years back. Yeah.
yeah. Lewis the Child and Troy Boy. That was a
Yeah,
fun one.
that was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a fun
Yeah,
show.
man. So Bangarang was telling me you do some work for Ogden Twilight as well. Like, what do you do for them, and you want to talk
Yeah.
about that a little
So,
bit?
um, it just Ogden had kind of come a long way. So my real background or involvement in Ogden is again I've got an art background, and I like buying and restoring historic properties. And I just kind of noticed that Ogden had all these amazing historic structures that were kind of going unused and were super affordable. And a decade or so ago, I started buying them up, and they didn't cost much anything. I mean, I bought places, right across the street from me. I bought a place for 30 grand, stuff like
Nice.
that. So yeah,
That's
super
awesome.
dirt cheap. Yeah. So then I
Fun
started
hobby.
fixing them up in these, yeah, really artistic, eclectic ways. And that's kind of how the bar came to be. I'd never worked in the bar industry or music industry, but bought the bar, uh, the building at a sale, and just kind of thought, hey, what would be the best use for this building? And kind of missed all the bars from when I lived in Denver. And uh, yeah, again, we kind of played Mr. Potato Head with all of our favorite bars there. We took, we'll take this aspect from this bar and this aspect from that bar and piece it all into one that we can call our own. And and then through that, came to find that like, man, Ogden's really missing out on the music scene. I started booking some shows at the bar, but the shows I wanted to book were definitely bigger than our little venue could hold. And the Ogden Amphitheater was just up the street, and it seemed like a great opportunity to kind of piggyback on what Salt Lake was doing with their Twilight program, and so decided to start one up here. And we started initially just doing the month of June because the Salt Lake one was only doing July and August.
Right.
And yeah, so just kind of started trying to book it. I tried to get other people to book it initially, but they didn't think it would be successful. And I booked the first year, and then Will Sartain of SNS Presents um, was kind of like coaching me behind the scenes, giving me little pointers here and there.
Hmm.
Um, and then after the first year went as well as it did, he decided to jump on a little bit more again behind the scenes. His presence wasn't really known to like the booking agents or artists or anything like that.
Right.
But then by year three, it was just like he was completely involved and has been since. So this would have been our sixth year, but yeah, obviously COVID kind of took that out. But yeah, so my side of things is kind of booking, curation, like the design work, that sort of stuff.
Cool. That's awesome. So you, yeah, I didn't realize you were one of the like founders of it then, one of the initial people who started it up, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man,
really dope.
it's been super cool to see that grow. Like I'll admit I was one of the first, like when it first came around, I was like, damn, it's gonna be interesting to see like how that does in Ogden. I don't know, like if Ogden will sustain a concert series like that, but it definitely has, and it's been awesome to see it grow. Like it's great.
Yeah, for sure. Like Ogden has this weird negative perception within the state of Utah, but outside of the state of Utah, it's got a positive perception as far as like all the cool outdoor sports stuff and the affordability. But I mean, if you talk to somebody from Salt Lake, especially, before the series started, it was, Ogden's the redheaded stepchild. Nobody wants anything to do with it. So we had to try to remove every burden possible to lure people up here, like A, get great bands, but B, that partnership with UTA to get people to come up. I mean, make it easy for people to come up, and eventually, yeah, we even started selling out shows, and last year we even sold out three, and I think we would have had a handful of sellouts this year, if not for COVID,
Yeah.
but we'll come back strong next year.
Do you think
Yeah, that's great.
y'all might do something in the fall, or just concerts in
Well,
general just gone till
it's so tricky. So I don't know if you guys saw Coachella just canceled, and they had pushed back to October.
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, so they'd been April, pushed to October, and then yeah, they've canceled for this year completely. They've talked about maybe doing a mini scaled back version in the spring of next year, but they're even
Mm-hmm.
talking about like full scale Coachella. It might not be until the fall of 2021.
Oh
So
wow.
it's tricky. Yeah, just with social distancing restrictions where they are, there's
Yeah.
really no way to do a show with big artists that could pencil and that you could like get a mass gathering permit for. It's just, I mean, until we have widespread vaccinations available, I just don't think we're gonna see big concerts happening.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I work for V2, and we just canceled, postponed DOS Energy. I'm sure you know DOS Energy
Oh
Festival. We
yeah,
just
yeah. No, that's
postponed that
huge.
to next year as well.
Uh,
Like
yeah,
that was
it's
tough
tough,
putting
and
together.
yeah, yeah. And we initially we were like, okay, we're gonna postpone, and we moved our first four shows. Like we moved the Lewis the Child show back into the fall. We
Hmm.
moved Purity Ring. Who else? Flaming Lips and Taika. We moved all four of those back further into the fall. But the more we looked at it, it became clear it's just not going to happen this year. Um, and even if for some reason Utah restrictions loosened up to a point that made it possible, um, we're not a big enough fish for these artists to bring a tour just to come see us if they can't like link together a whole routed uh, play. It's I mean it's not going to
Yeah,
pencil, not
I
going to
was
make sense.
actually gonna see what your thoughts were on that, because it does seem like Utah is gonna be back to a point where we could have bigger shows than other states, like sooner than other places will
Oh
be able
yeah,
to. So
especially
do you think that's like that we have the possibility of having like one of the first festivals or first like bigger outdoor shows or something before a lot of other states, you know?
well, when we went to Yellow so quickly, I was like, "Oh crap, did we make the wrong move?" Because it came like 2 or 3 days after we just canceled. But we'd had a lot of artists already pulling out or canceling their tours. So I mean, we could have maybe done something more scaled back. But now that we've seen like kind of the numbers ramping up here in Utah, like I hope we stay at Yellow, but I really hope we don't go back to orange, but I don't see us going to green really anytime soon. And I think even when we do go to green, they're still going to be recommending social distancing to certain degrees
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I think to some degree we're hosed, but if 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 by chance they do give us a green and to and we can do outdoor shows of a decent size. We've got some ideas where we would do probably more like our special guest tier artists, a little bit smaller, and and try to do just some quick fly-ins here or there, and
Cool.
maybe just have them play on the rooftop from Alleged, where we'd sell tickets to the people on the roof, but let people watch on the street from below, and and maybe
Nice.
run that through Ogden Twilight. And people watching from the street would obviously be free, and maybe set up some food trucks, that sort of thing. But just try to do something that welcome people back to 25th and get some music out there. But yeah, it'll have to be kind of last minute things. Like if we get the green light, see who's up for doing a fly-in.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there will be a good amount of artists who need to make some money. Just fly in real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually that's a really dope concept. 'Cause I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I really think we will go green before a lot of other states, and people are gonna want money. Streaming money only goes so far.
Yo, oh yeah, for sure. But
So
there's also like the stigma with these artists too. It's like, will that be perceived
Yeah,
cool that you went and played a show? Because it's a completely different world in New York or LA
for sure.
from Ogden, Utah. It's like, yeah, come here. Everyone's like, yeah, that's cool to play, but their friends from New York or LA, where they're all on lockdown, might be like, whoa, what the hell are you thinking, man? This is crazy. Yeah,
I've actually seen some of that going down on social media a little bit, like artists announcing shows for the fall in other states, and people, from LA, like you just said, just giving some pushback on that.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a weird time. We're actively booking for 2021, and we've been able to kind of hold some of our best stuff from this year and shift it to next year. And we're hoping that we can kind of make it a bit of a super season by like holding the best stuff we had this year, and then having all this time to fill in those other gaps with bigger artists. But
So
yeah, until
straight
that
fire
back,
all 2021.
yeah, that's the goal. But we'll see. Again, it's all going to come down to whether or not a vaccine is widely available.
so how do you feel like this is gonna change the future of concerts and bar hopping or just going out in general?
For now, initially I thought we were hosed. Like those first couple weeks when we had like
Yeah,
10% sales, I'm like, oh God, is it going to come back?
yeah.
I was really scared. But what I've seen in the last 2 3 weeks, I think everything's going to bounce back to normal
Hmm.
as soon as the vaccines are widely available.
Okay.
I've been surprised how many people coming out, and like we've got everything set up for social distancing at the bar.
Uh
But
huh.
man, when one group in one section sees their group of friends in another section, man, they're all rushing over to see each other, say hi. They're not
Yeah.
wearing masks. They're honestly keeping it pretty casual, which was kind of surprising. Like we're doing what we're supposed to do from a business standpoint,
Hmm.
and recommending social distancing. We got all the signs, the sanitizer, staffs and masks, etc. But
Yeah.
the guests largely seem like they're kind of over it, COVID, and they're just kind of going to do what they're going to do.
That's what
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of how it's going with a lot of businesses right now. And I
Mm.
wanted to do you think that people have been just on that note, like have people been rude to you at all about it, or like giving you shit for asking, for enforcing whatever policies you guys are enforcing there, like if you had people push back at it?
The first week or two, there's some people that it's like they must have stumbled out of a cave or something. We were like, hey, whoa, you can't do this, and we're trying to get it clear, or they were too intoxicated when they came in, type of thing. They just
Hmm.
weren't getting it, and we had to ask them to leave. But things were stricter when we were in that orange phase than we are now in the yellow phase. A lot of the things that were like hard requirements in the orange phase kind of became recommendations in the yellow phase. So things are a little more relaxed. I know you guys are probably down in Salt Lake where it's still orange, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a little more loose up here,
okay, I didn't
but
even
not
forget about
dramatically
that. Yeah,
so.
forgot
Yeah.
about that too.
Huh. That's crazy how the different counties are like that. I actually saw so Governor Herbert said that like you can, or the health department says that you can do mass gatherings now, but it has to be a seated venue.
Like it
Well,
has to be a
and
cultural gathering,
Oh.
whatever falls under that definition.
Oh.
Could be anything
Okay.
technically.
yeah, and you look at it, you have to, and there's all these permits and requirements you have to get to do it, and you
Uh
have to
huh.
have like this plan that shows how you'll prevent infection and how you'll distance people and all that. And when you look at it, there's really just no way to do a show of any size and comply with the requirements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I that yeah, I agree. It's funny. Yeah,
Especially when people are like not doing their, maybe not like fully doing their part to
Oh,
participate in the
exactly. I
show, you
mean,
know?
you can educate them and you can give them the recommendations and the tools to do what's needed. But if they don't do it, I mean, you can't have people walking around interrupting people the whole time at a con. I mean, it's just it's impossible to police. It's a,
Yeah.
yeah, there's just no way to do it.
hmm no, that's true. Oh man,
Crazy.
that's yeah.
Yeah, no, and we man, we tried. We were just bashing our heads against walls for months, trying to think of like, all right, how can we do it this way? We again postponing dates, whatever we could come up with. And
uh-huh.
the more we looked at it, it's just like, man, it's just not going to happen this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, then I guess, damn. I mean, 2021 is gonna be strong for
Oh God,
everybody.
everybody's just going to be like, I don't know how. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. Everybody's going to need lots of Gatorade and naps, and because
Yeah.
like, there's no one's going to want to miss any shows, and every artist is going to want to tour to try to get
hmm
their bank accounts back up again. So yeah,
Yeah.
it'll I don't know if there'll just be too many things to choose from, or again,
Yeah.
it'll be an interesting year.
Do you think this is gonna affect like artist fees in a way that, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna affect them in some way, but do you think it's gonna make artist fees go up or go down?
It's really tough. Like I've kind it's going to depend on demand, but if people are afraid to come back and you can't sell out shows or you can't fill venues, I think it'll send the artist fees down. If demand has somehow gone up, and yeah, it's easy to sell places out and at higher ticket prices, then yeah, I could see fees going up. But
Right.
it's tough to say right now. I mean, like I said, when we initially reopened the bar and demand was so low, I was shocked. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, if the demand is there, I'm sure the fees will go up. But
I could
my
see it
guess
going
is
either way,
initially,
honestly.
yeah, my guess is initially fees will probably go down a little bit,
hmm
but who knows?
Then it'll bounce back and come back stronger, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. If they as soon as they see stuff selling well, and start seeing sellouts, whatever, then I think rates will just adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, because I definitely see a lot of people afraid to go out at first. I think what you just described will happen on a bigger level with the concert industry. Like it'll probably be 6 months to like a year before rates start to climb back up.
Yeah, it'll like take a
Yeah,
Cause
dip and then climb back higher.
yeah.
yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons so many of these like festivals, etc., even though they're pushing to next year, I mean, are calling it a postponement rather than a cancellation, is they want to hold those ticket fees, those already sold tickets, because they don't know what demand's going to be like afterwards. Generally, you'd think if a show is canceling for that calendar year, you'd refund and you'd buy again the next year. But
hmm
all those bigger
Yeah.
shows like Live Nation and AEG, they're definitely
They're
holding on
holding
to the
on to it.
tickets.
They're holding
Yeah,
on to it too much, in my opinion. Like what we just did at DOS Energy is we offered like everyone can get a refund if they want, but if they want to like help support, they can just take a voucher that they can use towards shows in
yeah,
2021.
yeah. No, I
So it's
agree.
up
So
to them in that way.
that's what we had to do with Ogden Twilight too. And part of what
Oh, nice.
took us so long to get through the cancellation was a lot of the artists just wanted to do it as a postponement, and
Right.
we didn't feel good about it. We wanted our guests, our regular buyers, to feel confident. Hey, if you buy an Ogden Twilight ticket in the future, if the show happens, you'll get to see it. If it doesn't, you're going to get a refund. So
Yeah.
um, even though like some of these artists are likely to come back next year, we thought it was still best to refund now and
Yeah, they
and,
can
and start again next year.
rebuy their tickets if they want.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows what scenario we're in next year? I mean, and maybe they're gonna reduce venue capacities to 50% or something, and then we'll have to charge a different ticket price, or I
Different
mean, so
artist fees or
it
something.
just yeah, it just seemed crazy to kind of hold on to this year's numbers and hold people's money when we don't know what we're gonna be looking at.
Right. It's crazy too how it's changed kind of like for me. I like we started rescheduling shows in like March and April when this happened because we were like, oh, maybe this will just take a few months, you know. But then like
Mm-hmm.
as time's gone on, 6 months, like up to coming into 6 months, it'll be like we're all realizing that it's gonna take longer than we originally thought, you know,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
things to
no,
bounce
it's
back to normal.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to go back to normal. But yeah, I think I maybe I've heard and seen some articles that make it look like there's the potential for widespread vaccination as early as maybe even September. So maybe some stuff could come back in the winter, but I don't know. And then that's like kind of a best case scenario, but who knows?
Wow.
Hmm. Yeah, that's early.
Yeah, it's super early. So like I
Like,
think yeah, and I could be misquoting, but I saw like I think there's several different vaccines in human trials, and one is several stages in, and it's promising enough that the Bill Gates Foundation gave them some number of hundreds of millions of dollars to actually start mass producing that vaccine, even though it's not approved yet, so that the moment it is approved, it'll be ready to go for widespread deployment.
Yeah,
So
if we can just. What was that one called again, or what was the company? Do you know the company behind that one?
it might have been AstraZeneca, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so I mean, if someone's willing to put hundreds of millions of dollars on that gamble, because I mean, if it isn't approved, I mean, they're just gonna have to throw it all away. But
I
yeah,
mean, it's
it's
Bill
it's it's
Gates.
interesting. Just yeah, they're already mass producing it, even
Bill
though it's not
Gates is like,
approved.
whatever. I got money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
No, you're right. Well, honestly, man, thank you for taking the time to chat it up with us, bro.
Yeah,
Um,
likewise. It's fun to catch up.
I know it's good to hear from you. Are you gonna be up at Alleged anytime this weekend?
Yeah, I'll probably drop because of this whole crisis thing. I've been staying in town on weekends and kind of getting out of town on weekdays. But
Okay.
yeah, I go in each night just to kind of check on things and see how people are doing it and get a feel for the vibe because it's yeah, it's all an unknown now. I didn't know like yeah, really those first 2 weeks I was like, oh shit, the bars aren't coming back. Like our concert's gonna come back. It was terrifying because I just figured everybody's like me. Oh man, as soon as the bars open up again, I'm gonna be back out there having drinks and seeing
Yeah.
shows, but yeah, it was scary. It was for sure. But yeah,
Well,
I'll keep I'll be around most weekends for the foreseeable future until kind of things get back to normal.
okay, cool, cool. I'm gonna pop up there one of these nights.
Oh, that'd
Um,
be great.
saying it's
Yeah,
like
dude. Maybe
nothing
I'll
is really
cruise up there with
happening.
you. Actually.
Oh, please,
Yeah. Let
please.
me know. We can hang out on the roof, and I'll have to show you. We're building out another club right now too, and I'll be happy to show it to you.
Okay, then I will let you know when I come up there.
Cool.
So, thanks again, bro. I appreciate
Awesome,
you for
man.
joining
Yeah.
us.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
sure
see
I'll
you.
meet you sometime soon. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
peace.
Bye.
Yo, shout out to Jared for joining us. That was good stuff.
It got me thinking again, just about like fucking COVID, man.
I
I
mean,
like
like,
that's so interesting to hear that. That was cool to hear that perspective because like I've been of the mindset like him that like
yeah,
I would think as soon as he opens that he would be fucking packed, you know?
yeah, same.
So, yeah, that's it's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's true how different we are from like LA and New York. Like that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now in Utah, like an artist would come play here and people would be like, I'm definitely going to that show. But
Oh yeah.
those that artist's friends in LA would definitely be like, what the fuck are you doing playing a show? That's super not cool of you. Like I can see that hella
Fucking
happening.
haters. I mean,
And
look, I
kind
look
of
at it.
like good reason to be a hater, kind of. But
I mean,
cause things are relatively in control here, but in like fucking LA and New York, shit is not really in control, and it's still very bad for them over there. You know?
right. And that part I get, but like if you're practicing social distancing and you're boarding a plane that's been downsized, like they're practicing social distancing on the flight, and you go there to DJ, like whether or not the venue is practicing it, I look at it like this: if I'm practicing social distancing, I'm doing my part. You know what I'm saying?
Do you worry
But
about like getting it though? Besides just doing your part, like do you worry about
as long
catching some
as
shit?
I'm being safe, meaning if I got booked to do a show and I'm gonna practice social distance on my end and I'm gonna wipe the turntables and microphone and stuff off before my set, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Then
gonna
you're
wear a
pretty
mask
much
during
doing
my
everything
set.
you can do.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do everything I can do to like, cause at some point I feel like you gotta eat, but also there's a difference between like being reckless, I feel like,
Oh yeah,
and
just
and
like
and
if
like
you were going to if you went and played a gig and then like went to a after party with like 100 people at
Yeah,
a house and
that's being reckless. That's like that. Like for real. That's like at that
no,
point you're
you're
just
right.
being
That's a
stupid.
good point. Like if you're doing your thing, like can't hate
Yeah,
if you're just gonna like flying's not necessarily dangerous, but I don't know if you've seen this, but I've heard of a bunch of airlines telling their people like you have to wear masks. We're
yeah,
only booking like half as many seats and stuff, and
yeah.
then just straight up not doing those things, like not enforcing that people wear masks and just letting people do whatever the fuck.
Well, I know from a friend of mine who just flew here the other day to like pick up some stuff and drive back, like because they bought a house in another state that
Hmm.
you have to have a mask and you have to have gloves. Like he
Which
had on a
air? Do you know
mask
which
and
airline he
gloves.
was on?
It was Delta.
Of course, I mean I'm sure Delta's doing it right. The one I heard bad things about was United.
Oh well, hell yeah! I mean, like they fight people. Like,
Yeah, they always sucked, I guess. Fuck those
like
guys.
United's always sucked. So like,
Delta's
I
always
mean,
on point though.
yeah. So I mean, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Like, bro, as long as you're being safe and
So
practicing,
you go play like if you got booked in like LA, would you go play a gig right now?
100%.
Yeah.
Because like I would practice social distance. Like I would wear my mask. I would keep like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
if someone's gonna book me, I'm gonna be in a hotel room by myself. I can DoorDash food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just go to the
Like
airport, play your shit, go
literally,
to home. Like,
exactly. No after party.
yeah,
It's
you're
like go
right.
to the club, play my set, and then go home. You know, like that's it. Like no mingling and all that
Yeah.
other shit. You
No,
know?
you're right. Like, if an artist is doing it that way, then there's
Yeah,
no reason to hate, really. Like,
yeah.
right?
But I also understand the concern though. Like it's good to be concerned about it because people should be responsible as far as like not allowing mass gatherings. You know, however, but it's like I just see if somebody is gonna book somebody, the event's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah, they'll just
So
get someone else.
exactly, they're just gonna get someone else. So might as well just like take that bag
Yeah,
and
you're right.
I mean, I'm just saying, and like, and
No,
and
you're
and
right.
be safe, and be safe, like,
And
because I can't.
everyone's gonna be at their own pace too. Like, there's some people who are gonna be like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go get that money," and then some people are like, "I don't want to leave my
Exactly,
house still," you know.
exactly, and that's cool. Like everybody's different. Everybody's different. But I'm just, I'm just like, yo, fuck it. Like let's, like let's work. You know what
Dude,
I'm saying,
I miss traveling so much. Like, I can't
bro?
really complain because it's only been like a few months. It's not the worst thing, I guess, but the fact that I can't like go on a trip right now, or that you couldn't really go on like a vacation right now, you know?
Yeah,
Or I guess you could. I don't know. I feel
you
like would you go
could.
somewhere like fucking like Cabo right now? Like, what do you think it's like down there?
I mean, that's too far. I
Yeah.
would I wouldn't go. Like, nah, for real, for real. Like I wouldn't go there just based off the fact with like how like just with how crazy shit has been. I need to
Yeah.
be within a day's drive.
Yeah. You don't want to get stranded away
I'm
from
not
home or
trying to
some
be
crazy
stand
shit.
just exactly. But I would take a vacation, bro. Like I would go to Vegas.
Vegas
I
is
wouldn't
opening
do
back up.
anything. I wouldn't do anything. I would literally go down there to walk around the strip and like drink. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, that would be it. But like once again, if I've got my mask on and stuff and like I'm being safe and not touching and hugging people and
Till you get drunk and then you start hugging people.
nah, man, I'm done
Just kidding.
drinking. I haven't drinking like 3 months.
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I
I'm
was like,
kidding.
yeah, as soon as I said, oh, really, I was like, there's no way that's
There's
true.
no way. Wow.
I'm pretty sure I just like saw you take a shot on a live stream like like a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
So,
you totally did. You totally did.
oh
But
man,
yeah, I'm with Jared. I'm kind of interested to see, and it's yeah to it's good
what
though.
were you trying
It's
to
all
say?
good stuff. No, I'm honestly there's just a lot of good stuff happening. Like, did you see today that the NFL they're gonna recognize Juneteenth as an official holiday?
Really? The
Yeah,
NFL?
the NFL says Juneteenth is now an official holiday. It's gonna be June 19th, but for those of you who don't know, Juneteenth is the day where Lincoln freed the slaves.
And what day is it exactly?
They don't know,
Oh, okay.
but that's why it's called Juneteenth.
Sometime
But it's celebrated
in this
on June
general.
19th.
Okay. Word.
Yeah.
Nice. So what
So
does the NFL get like? What does that mean for them?
it's a day
Like they might
off.
not have games or practice and stuff that day,
Yeah.
or
I mean, it's a day off, and I mean it sounds so small, but it's
no,
such
it's
a big deal. Like that's a
yeah,
big fucking deal. I don't think
yeah, dude.
people
It's fucking
understand.
NFL, and they're
Yeah, like
recognizing that, like, yeah, for
and
sure.
they committed 250 million to social injustice issues for the next 10 years. That's 25 million a year, bro. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
oh, fuck.
Yeah. That's
Wait,
the
say
type
that
of
again. Say that again.
hold on. So the NFL is donating 250 million over the next 10 years towards social
So
injustice
like two
issues.
point like whatever 2.5
250
million a year or
million.
something.
Yeah.
Damn.
No,
Okay.
that's 25 million a year.
Oh my god.
It's
I mean,
it's
they
to
can
help
afford it
fight
for sure. Like,
systematic racism.
yeah,
It's what it's. But yeah, I mean, 25 million ain't shit to them,
yeah,
but
dude,
it's a
they can
lot
afford
to
it.
the
That's
cause.
great. No, it's a fucking lot to the cause for
Like,
sure. That's
so
crazy big money
that
for sure.
that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah, that's
that's
what
the
it
type
is.
of for real. Like, I'm hyped as shit up. Like, I saw that this morning, and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is why I fuck with the NFL because it's dope. Like, don't get
That's
me
great.
wrong. Like, they waited 10 years. Like, they apologized to Kaepernick, like for saying,
Yeah,
hey, you were right. We should have done
should have
something earlier.
backed you up more. Yeah,
But not only did they apologize, they fucking went and did they made Juneteenth an official holiday and 25 excuse me 250 million over 10 years.
that's
You know what I'm saying? That's 25
that's
million a
so much.
year, bro,
That's so much money.
toward
Yeah, that's
towards
great.
systematic racism, bro.
That's amazing.
That's it's incredible.
Not
Like,
towards systematic racism.
well, no, towards towards the fight of systematic racism.
Yeah,
Like, it's
I want to
dope.
check that out. I'm curious to see what like charities they're behind. You know, I'm sure it's a few. I'm sure it's several.
Like, let me hold on. I've got the NFL and our
That's
clubs will
amazing, dude.
continue to work corrab- collaboratively with NFL players to support programs to address criminal justice reform, police reforms, and economic and educational advancement.
Oh, good shit.
The NFL said it would
I
also
like the
use its
last part too.
television
That's
network.
awesome.
Oh, I know, right?
Educational advancement. That's great.
Bro, so good, so good. I'm stoked, and I'm stoked, and I'm sure the NBA is gonna do something about. It's gonna do something
I bet
next too, like
I bet all of the sports,
dominated
whatever
by
they're
black
called,
players. They
yeah,
have
they'll all
to.
come out and do something.
They have to, and it's incredible. It's just incredible to watch, man. Like that's part of the reason why I'm in such a good mood right now. It's just like, bro, like it's it's happening. We talked
That's
about it
awesome.
yesterday. I
Yeah,
mean, the other day.
about yeah, about real things being like good things happening, changes happening.
Exactly, and it's like,
That's a
you
big one.
know, it is. It's a massive one, and it's happening right before our eyes, bro.
Yeah,
Like
it's fucking
it's.
cool, man.
I'm telling you. Anyways, I'm gonna get off my high horse. So
Nah,
this is it.
you're right, bro.
This is it for us. Is this it for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Twitch, follow us on Twitch. Maybe I mean
Twitch
maybe we'll do something
gang.
next week. Like I feel like we'll have we can kind of do like
Let's just fill it out.
we should let people like let us know what they want to. If anyone wants to shoot us any suggestions, like do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe we were talking about like having an episode with a guest every 2 weeks, but maybe like us just talking once a week, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it could only be for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. It could just be a quick,
Yeah,
like, what's going on type of shit. Like, I'm down because
yeah,
that's the cool thing about Zoom is like we can do it from wherever.
yeah. We could
It's
change up
like,
the. I should go outside one day just to switch up my background here.
yeah. Bro, when
Just
social
change things up.
distancing is over, you should come to the studio and we can
Oh
use
yeah,
the green screen.
let's get back at the studio for sure.
Like,
Faux
we can have a
show.
whole green screen behind us. It'll be lit.
How's that mic sound?
I like it. I like it. I'm glad that you finally have your mic set up.
I might
So,
return it though, cause it's kind of. I don't know.
you should buy my setup.
I might.
Buy this.
We'll see.
I'll
We'll see
send
how
it to you.
this episode sounds. That's gonna be the judge.
I'm gonna get a text message 20 minutes after the episode. This mic sounds like shit.
Dude,
I'm getting
I
another
thought it
one.
sounded bad yesterday. You're like, no, it sounds fine.
Oh shit,
Anyways, good
but yeah,
stuff.
man. Yeah, great stuff. Once again, thank you, Jared. If you're in Ogden, go check out Alleged. It's dope. It's dope. Like Ian, we're gonna go up there.
Yeah, bro. I to elaborate on that story, I was like fucked up. I don't
Oh, I'm
remember that
sure.
place at all. I need to go back.
God, I love you.
Oh
Um,
man.
oh, by the way, before we wrap this up, guys, I released a house track. Check it out. It's in
Ooh.
my SoundCloud. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I went one deeper. Um, I went one deeper.
Hell yeah. Check it out.
So,
SoundCloud.com/bangarang something.
yeah, slash DJ Bangarang.
There it is.
So we out.
Woo.
Peace.